Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. I have to accept it still. It's interesting. Approve. I never seen this. Okay.
There you go. Cool. I'll let you take the lead, man. I sent over the questions, and I think you probably have a better idea of.
Sure, sure. So yeah,
Uh,
let's just hammer through those questions.
sure.
Okay. So number one, yeah, you mentioned that you hint at or ask the question, would you be interested if they're interested in, is this the 4 week mark? Uh, correct. So yeah, so just let me show you. I'll share my screen at the same time.
Yeah, sure.
Screen share. Oops. Yeah, so when they join, I send them like an email with their receipt. I send them like a very short digital welcome package. And then also, let me just actually show you a real example.
Yeah.
Um, Oops, sorry. So for example, this lady, I don't know if you could see it. Let me just, uh, so I just kind of give her like a welcome and then all the attachments, the waiver, all that stuff. And then this form here, I just ask her, when you have a moment, can you please fill out this survey so I could send something to you, right? Uh, the problem with this Fathom thing right here. So when they go to that survey, it just asks them a bunch of questions, what kind of, sorry, what kind of things do you like?
Yeah.
What's your favorite spa, your restaurant? And then there's a question here, like around 3/4 of the way through, and they say, if you could earn your 100% of your investment back through our referral program, how interested would you be in learning more? So they have two options, binary, interested or not interested.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I'd say 95% would say they're interested in getting their money back. I mean, who wouldn't be, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I do it. And then throughout with my program, I have weekly check-ins. Sorry,
Mhm.
I have a weekly progress report where
Mhm.
they update their status, how they're doing, what went well, what didn't go well, all that type of stuff. So I'm sort of building kind of their progress throughout the 12 weeks that I spend with them. So I'm gathering all this data. And then in week 4, I have a strategic 1 month check where we actually get on a Zoom call. So all this other stuff is done asynchronously, meaning uh, they send me information, I send it back at our own perceived time whenever it's
Yeah.
convenient on certain days. But the 1-1 call I have strategically at the 4 week mark. And then this is when I have a template of questions to ask them how their progress is, if there's anything you want me to improve, something that you're missing, all that type of stuff. And then at the end of that questionnaire, I always ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being never and 10 being absolutely, how likely would you be to refer me? And, you know, again, if you do a good job, I only get tens.
Yeah.
And so I talk to them when I get on the call with them. I talk to them about all the stuff they mentioned, what can I help, blah, blah, blah. So I give them specific feedback on their progress. And then before we part on the call, I just say, oh, yeah, you know what, Jonathan, uh, I had a question, and you mentioned that, you would be highly likely to refer me. I appreciate that very much. You know, if you recall when we first, had I sent you that survey, you put that you would be super interested in our referral program. Are you okay if I talk to you about that? Because I just wanted to know, maybe there's someone you may know that would benefit from our program. And then yeah, sure, sure. Tell me about it. And then I tell them about our referral program. So I essentially say that, you don't have to sell anything. I don't want you to be a marketer for me. People are going to start to notice naturally how you're changing. They're going to see how you look. They're going to see your behaviors. They're going to notice positive aura with you. They're going to start to ask questions. So you may not have a way of introducing me. You may not know how to do that. So essentially, you can just either do a 3-way chat with me, okay? Or I have a link to my website. I'll show that to you after, where they can fill out a questionnaire and then I will contact them. Now, the great thing is, again, you don't have to sell anything. they'll come to you naturally. But in the case that they actually do join, I will give them a $200 discount and I will also give you $200. And it's a win-win. So everyone wins from this opportunity. Okay? So I just kind of give them that information.
Okay. So let me ask you this because I do, just to be clear on something. So, like right now, at the 4 week mark, and I'm using trainer eyes to kind of like, so I had like I have a signature 12-week signature program, and there's like things that they get sent out automatically, week to week, based on what we're working on and talking about. And one of the things that they get at the 4 week mark is a client questionnaire similar to what you're talking about. I asked the exact question. It's set up so that if they say they would refer someone, it then like opens up a box, like it's a conditional thing, right? It opens up a box. Okay, is there anyone in particular you can think of? But what you're saying is you send them the form maybe before this call, and then you talk about that everything that they said on the call, specifically pinpointing the referral question.
Correct. So what I was taught is it's the same thing what James says is you give, 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 and then there's a psychological part where there's a obligation to reciprocate. So when
Mm-hmm.
you ask that question at the end after you've given, they're more likely to open up and say, "Yeah, I do know someone." And then you take the names down and and then you could keep a record of that. So even though it may not happen right away, you always kind of when they start making progress and they're doing a good job, you can always reiterate, "Oh yeah, still curious. Do you know anyone who may be a good fit? You mentioned XYZ may be a good fit. Have you ever spoken to them about your progress, or have they seen you?" So you kind of always trying to kind of keep it top of mind, and this is kind of how you just get that lead generation kind of happening in the background, leveraging your clients to do it for you.
Okay. So I guess I'll ask you specifically here. So, normally, and I think this is a mistake that you're highlighting. I don't, I send them the questionnaire. Most of them fill it out. I frame it from the perspective of like, hey, I want to be the best coach. Make sure you're getting the most out of this, and so on.
Yeah,
But it sounds like what I should be doing. Like to get specific, I send it on Saturday, like at the end of the week, basically, or
right.
maybe Sunday after they get like their check-in form. Okay. So maybe what I should be doing is sending it earlier in the week so that I can meet with them. Make sure set it up so that I'm making sure to meet with them after they filled out that form, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. So I think you kind of covered like how you get them started. Let me ask you this, like kind of going into the next question that I think makes sense here. Number three. So like I don't have this built in yet. If you were me, how would you now go back and have this conversation with the clients that you feel like would probably be into this? Like I'm sure you have some ladies that are, you know, kind of into social media and maybe they're well spoken on social media. Maybe they have a little bit of a following themselves, right? So, how would you approach some of these people?
So these people who are out of your ecosystem, or they're still in your ecosystem right now?
So, not yeah. I mean, look, some are current. Most of them would be current clients. Some would be
Okay.
past clients.
Yeah, current clients are easy for sure. So I always have to lead in with something that is relevant to them. Again, looking at a story of theirs or something maybe their kid did and leading in with that. And always asking them, yeah, how's your progress going? And looking, if obviously compliment them on doing whatever they're doing, especially if it's applicable to what you may have helped them with. So I just case in point, I had another lady too. She's not working with me anymore, but I saw her post a picture of her story, and she looked really great. And then I took an old picture that she sent me, and I did a contrast for her, and I sent it to her, and it's like, oh yeah, can I post this on my story? And then again, I would just ask her, yeah, now you've been maintaining by yourself and people are noticing. Do you know anyone who maybe, would benefit from this? And then talking about that again, right? So I kind of always just bring it up and reminding them of that. Because sometimes I go through all these steps, the whole process, and they don't actually do it. They don't actually follow through. Like they don't actually talk about anybody and like they kind of leave my ecosystem. So
Sure.
whenever I have the opportunity, I see something that they're doing and I know that they're continuing with the knowledge and the tools that I've taught them. I highlight that again and they like, oh yeah, that's great. So again, you're giving and then they realize, oh yeah, this guy's given me a lot. I need to reciprocate back. So then they start thinking again, okay, who can I help? And they repost that on their story. And again, that can often generate more eyeballs, more people following, which leads to more conversation, that kind of effect.
Okay. Um, got it. So lead with something about them, but basically what you're saying is like, especially for past clients, kind of re-engage them, remind them about what I've helped them with and what I helped them achieve and kind of like how it's tying into their life now, maybe, right?
Exactly. Oftentimes, what will come up are memories too. So sometimes, if they were in my program a year ago and we posted something on their story or Facebook memory, I'll always comment on that Facebook memory because it brings it right back to the top. And then other people who because the algorithm's weird, right? Sometimes you may not have seen it that when it was originally posted, but then the next time when I bump it, you might see it then. So you just never know who's watching. And then I also take stories that I posted 3 years ago sometimes, and then I just put it on my story and I say, oh, look, good throwback XYZ name. Isn't this cool, right? And then they'll reshare it. It's just reusing a lot of stuff, but that's how I kind of stay in contact with a lot of people that I worked with in the past, is just bringing
Yeah,
old memories, good positive memories, of course. And then
sure.
what that can lead to sometimes too is if they've fallen off the wagon, they're like, shoot, you know what? I got to get back on this. Do you still have openings kind of thing? So
Yeah.
it always leads to something.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good point. Okay. Let me ask you this. I guess just kind of going into what I was going to ask is kind of, do you ask people to share stuff for you directly? Like when you post a story about that, like or post like client progress or something like that, do you directly ask them to share it?
Yes, I
Okay.
do. But there is a lead up to that too.
Okay. What is the abbreviated version of how you do that?
So again, like I do that weekly check-in. So they're building a database of answers, right? And then I have there's a mandatory thing for me is to take pictures every week.
Yeah,
Again, I have a database of that. So I always do a contrast throughout the time we're working together. So
sure.
building a lot of momentum and confidence. Um, Sorry, let me go back to one little quick thing too.
Yeah.
If around the 4 week mark, if they're having good success, I'm still sharing, right? Can you see this?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Um, if they rated me a 10 and they're gonna refer me, I always ask them, can you put a review on my Facebook page? I don't wait till the end. I used to wait till the end, but sometimes people ghost. So now I do it at the 4 week mark.
Okay.
So
Yep.
I have my Facebook page, and so right now I got, you know, 244, 100%
That's awesome.
recommended, right? So
Yeah.
this is again part of the testimonial. So when they're done the program, I always talk to them. I said, "Man, you did amazing. Here's what you wrote. Are you happy? This and that." And they're like, "Yeah, man, this is crazy." I'm like, you know what? We talked about already that you said you may be interested in your investment coming back, and you may know some people. Would you be against if we tried to, maybe share your story? Because I think it would resonate with a lot of people. Now, the good thing is, I keep talking about referrals. Everyone who comes with me is usually based on a referral. So I'll say, XYZ, you remember you found me through ABC, right? And that inspired you to contact me. Now you're in that position to pay it forward. Wouldn't it be awesome that when we post your transformation, you could help someone who's in that same position, who's been lost and doesn't think they can do it, and then you're the one that changes their life. how would awesome would that be? Yeah, I don't know, but I like, you know what? Think about it, but look at all the stuff that you've accomplished, right? And you keep feeding them the things that they've done well, and that you're not bullshitting, right? This is actually
Yeah.
stuff that they built, and you have the text there already. And now that I've been doing this AI stuff, right? Like taking notes, when I do the enrollment call, now I have the transcript. I summarize that, and I that all these pain points that they talked about, we presented, and I said, look at all the solutions now that you have, and you're not that person anymore. You're 2.0. You just build it up, and then most, not everyone, but a lot good chunk of them will do it. And
Yeah.
and I always ask, can you post it on your wall, put it public, tag me, tag Mighty Transformation, which is my company name,
Yeah.
that I can get eyeballs onto your network, right? Oftentimes I'll say, oh, I don't want to post it. I could post it, but I'm just going to be in my own echo chamber. So it would be very helpful if you could do that. So again, you're asking them a favor, but because you've given so much and you've shown that, a lot of times they'll do it even if they don't want to. Not everyone, some will still say hell no, but you're putting the odds in your favor if you're always giving, giving, giving. And of course, if you do a good job, if you do a shitty job, no. But if you really change their life, you're giving, 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 and you show them, and then you talked about how they got inspired by someone else, and now it's their opportunity to pay it forward to someone else, that's usually a, a done deal.
Okay. So what you're saying is instead of, to be specific, instead of you just posting it, what you would do is, or maybe you're doing both, is what you're saying. What you would do is send them the actual copy, like for the post, and then the photo as well, and say, here, like, could you post this? Or are you just saying, I'm gonna post it, and then could you just share that from where I share it from?
Yeah, so I try to do the first way, but I don't actually give them the text to post. So I'll give them the stuff that they wrote, but I always tell them, don't write this in your own words. Don't try to sell anything. Just talk about your experience. That's
But
what.
what are you giving them exactly? Just the summary from what are you giving to them to work off of for that post?
Yeah, so every week, like they fill out a form that is
Right.
talking about, things that went well during their week, what didn't go well, blah, blah, blah. So we have a collection of that. And
Yeah.
plus sometimes these guys, they write their testimonial here too. So I send them all this and I say, this is all the stuff that we've gathered. Look how amazing you did. And then when they say, oh, I don't know what to write, oh, take a look at all the stuff that you wrote. You could just summarize this, you can reuse it, or take a summary of everything. But just write it in your own words. Why? And then I give them like guides if they're really stuck. How did this help you? What position were you in? Who do you think this would help? And why would this be beneficial to them? So you kind of lead them with the questions, and then they come up with the answers.
Okay. That's awesome.
And they write it toward their, cater to their audience. So just gonna give you some concrete examples. So this lady, she's from the Philippines. She's a politician, and she
Yeah.
got like freaking 500 or 600 likes on this thing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I already got three clients from her just in the last 2 days, and then there's more filling out my questionnaire. So that was perfect, right? So this doctor here, she's not really on Facebook, but she allows me to share her stuff, and
Yeah.
it's got me a lot of leads. Um, let me just see here. Yeah, so this one lady, I got her to share it as well. So sometimes I will repost it myself. I will do that as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the reason why, yeah, sorry. So she didn't want to put it public, right? For whatever reason. She just wanted it within her network. So the problem when they do that, this private thing, it won't go onto my wall unless you're friends with her.
Right.
So then I repost it, also I still tag her and I repost it, but then my network sees it. It's not as powerful, to be honest with you, but it still helps because I still have a lot of people who are on the fence and then they see that, then they'll contact me.
Sure.
Uh, the lawyer from the Philippines, same thing. So she made that private too. But yeah, she got tons of engagement. Let
Yeah.
me show you. Oh yeah. So yeah, this lady. Oh, she took off the tag. but she didn't want to post it. She said I can post it on her behalf, and then I'll tag her, and it will go on her wall. So that's also the second best. As long as it goes on their wall, then that their eyeballs will the people
Yeah.
at work will still see it. But I guess she got hesitant and she untagged herself, so I don't see it anymore. But
Yeah.
it did get some visibility for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Um, uh, just to go to the next thing here and to kind of peel back the layer of the onion with this a little bit. I don't know if you mentioned this or maybe someone else on the call on the last call with James mentioned this. I think I heard someone say that maybe they would even pay a client that they know, like, would do a good job of this, like has a lot of visibility or whatever, maybe pay them a little something to even just do a post or a few posts or whatever. So I have one past client in particular that had amazing transformation. She would be, the first time I like the word that best describes her is I think, in the past mentorship we were talking about, I heard that person use the word maven, right? Like it's someone that has like a lot of social leverage, right? That I would be more than willing not to pay them something crazy, but more than willing to pay them, something to do a post or a few posts or something like that. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, is that something that you might consider doing if you thought it would be worth it?
personally, I wouldn't do that. It just
Okay.
humans are weird, right? Like they they're fine with accepting the money after they've like so when I do these referrals and I do send them the bonus, they're very thankful, but they always say, you know, I would have done it anyways. Like I just want to
Sure.
help people. So it feels kind of weird when you say, I'm gonna pay you to do this, even though they do like receiving the bonus. Who doesn't, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're saying I'm gonna pay you, it feels more disingenuous. It's like, okay, it's like they're taking money to do something that doesn't maybe not, how do I explain that?
No, I know what you're saying. I think it could even influence like the way that they're kind of talking about your program and stuff, right?
Yeah. So the way it's because it comes after it's that when you put it to their perspective, they're doing it because they're giving because they want to share, right? Without any expectation. And then when they get something after I say, oh yeah, so and so joined, they're like, oh, it's amazing. I never thought of that, right? That they would join. But I feel like that way just feels better, more genuine, rather than them feeling like they're being paid to do it. I don't I,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm articulating that very
Yeah,
well.
no, yeah, I mean, you are absolutely. I think, on the strategic side of things, I like in my mind, it's like I'll tell you, like this one person in particular, I think she has a job, but on the side, I think she's kind of always trying to be kind of an influencer, even though she's not really making money doing it. And so in my mind, it was like, okay, well, maybe I could kind of fulfill that part of that for her. And at the same time, for me, it's like, okay, well, shit, if I could take, $100 or something like that I might put into ads anyway and just make it almost a super targeted ad, like why not do that? But I'm with you. Like I hear what you're saying. Makes sense.
I think you can massage that in. So I'm going to give you an example. So I had a lady too, really bad on like just bad luck. So she was living on food stamps for a while too.
Yeah.
Past client, and she got a lot of clients from me. And she made a she referred like 10 clients, so she got $2,000 basically.
Yeah.
So then yeah, she was telling me about her situation. And I said, you know what? You remember I have my referral program. So again, if you feel that there's someone that may be benefit from this, when you post your stories on your food or your transformation, you never know who might be watching, and you might be able to inspire someone. And the bonus again is if they join that, you'll still get that bonus.
Yeah.
It's for life, right? So then I kind of I would massage it in that way. If that's what you feel this person, So you come at it from that angle, right? Oh yeah, you had done really well, and just to let you know, I have this referral thing so that, if in case that happens and someone joins because of you, then, I have that for you.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Um, when do you ever just ask a client to post for you, or is it all like, hey, would you mind doing a post or a story, or is it always this like, hey, I'm going to kind of compile this for you and here's what to post. I mean, because the way I'm reading that, it's like, okay, that's great, but that's one time, right? So do you ever ask them again, like, oh, hey, that's a pretty big win. Would you mind doing a story about that or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I would do that. I would say that. I say, oh, you should share this on your story or make a post on this because I think it could help people. Like, look how much you've achieved already in 4 weeks, right? Or something like that. It doesn't have to be at the end. Yeah, absolutely.
I think I need to like get over because I know you're right. Like they do say, like I'd be more than happy to share, right? And some there are some ladies that want to be a little bit more private about it, as I'm
Yeah.
no, but I think I just need to get better about suggesting that, like, hey, you should share something about this. I think it would help a lot of people. So I think I just need to get more in tune with saying that regularly.
Yeah, I was trying to find an example. I guess I don't have any recent ones. I guess this one was kind of a recent one. So yeah, she was just on yeah, like week 7. I did it for her, but she reshared it. So yeah, only week 7. Um, she had some good victories. So I said, you know what? And I, like I said, they give me pictures, so I compile it for them whenever I see a significant difference. Compliment them, and because they write the report, I have something that I could use, right? And then I tagged her. She allowed me to tag her. Went on her wall. She reshared it, put it on her story. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I have kind of a detailed question here, like looking at that photo. Are you just doing that through Canva, like background remover? Or is that the app that you have them?
I use one called remove.bg.
Okay. Yeah.
It's similar, yeah, it's the same thing. Same
Okay.
thing as that,
Cool.
yeah.
I didn't know if that was the app you have them like tracking things in or if you were doing that. Okay. Um,
Yeah, guidance.
yeah, I think, oh, yeah. So the referral, so I guess I'll jump ahead a little bit. Yeah. I was going to ask like number 6, or maybe I deleted one here, but like, do you mention, no, number 7.
Okay.
Is this something you ever mention like in your community, or is this like, do you try to keep this kind of one-on-one based, right? Like, do you ever just say, I mean, not even like as an official thing, but just maybe in a team meeting or something like that, and a few ladies, again, we're trying to grow this thing here and we're trying to make a bigger impact. Like, and if you can think of someone, then, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I definitely do. I don't talk about the, so yeah, with the one-on-one, I definitely talk about the details more,
Okay.
like with the
Okay.
money. But in a
Okay.
group setting, I don't talk about the money so much because
So
again,
how do you shape that in a group setting? I'm curious.
yes. So I have like James, I have 2 group calls a week where you have all my clients can join in that where no matter what starting point they're at, they're all in there. So I will mention it. So if I'm kind of needing clients or I'm low and I say, yeah, guys, based on something with the call, right? I don't know, I always try to tie it back to whatever we talked about. And by the way, guys, if you know anyone like this that you think can benefit, I am actually accepting clients now. So if there's anyone you may know, please let them know, right? Or sometimes I'll have a client that referred someone that week or 2 clients, and I say, "Oh yeah, by the way, Kathy referred two ladies. It was awesome. So guys, if you know anyone else, who may be a good fit, please let them know." Or yeah, Kathy referred these 2 ladies a couple weeks ago. They're in week 4. They've lost like 10 pounds. They're moms, new moms, and thought they were gonna can't get rid of the postpartum weight. They're doing great. Do you know anyone else like that, guys? Like, because I have openings now right now, and I'd love to work work with people that you may know that could benefit. So kind of just how I kind of weasel it in. I don't do it every call, obviously, but usually if there is like a lull or if I'm kind of needing clients, that's when I'll kind of, or if I expect other clients to be tapering off or getting off, then I'll weave it in there.
Yeah. No, I really, I think this is what I really appreciate this because, and I'm sure I'm not alone here and whoever's watching the recording, like I've started little elements of this, like in that 4 week check in, like, hey, do you know someone? But most of them say they would be willing to refer me, but they don't know someone, right? And then maybe I bring up at some point, uh, like if I'm putting out more offers or something like that, like, hey, do you know anyone that might be a good fit? But what you're doing is kind of dripping it like all throughout the program, right? And kind of planting that seed frequently. And I'm not doing that right now.
Yeah, exactly. And you can share something little, like sometimes I'll create a good meal based on things that we've learned, right? The simple stuff like adding more protein and filling your plate with vegetables. I mean, it sounds so rudimentary to us, but for
Yeah,
some, it's just like it's mind blowing to them, and they're so
sure.
proud of it. And I'm like, you know what? You should share this. This is amazing. People are gonna see that, and people what I've learned with this psychology stuff is it's like people want to be validated through either being funny, they're intelligent, they're helpful, they're beautiful. So when people see that they're actually doing something and they're something for their health and they like that, and because they invested a lot of money and now it's paying off, they want to talk about that stuff. So you kind of just, you know, um, tack onto that, basically piggyback off that and just kind of feed that ego a little bit, right? As nice as you can, not really being pushy, but
Yeah.
just being gentle suggestions, and it just reminds them, yeah, you know what, paid a lot of money for this. People should know that I'm doing good and I'm making progress. Not everyone, some people are very private, don't get me wrong, but the ones when you see them share their stories, they're open to doing certain things. Yeah, that's when you like start to key in on it.
Yeah. Love that. So just to jump to the next thing here, are you only paying them for the initial? Like I don't know how you have things set up, but like I have kind of a 12-week program, and then I'm trying to get them on, longer term. I don't know if you have something similar. Are you only paying them for kind of that initial they join and that's it? Is there anything else that you would give them something for?
No, so yeah, just the initial. So if one XYZ referred ABC, I'll just give XYZ the 200, right, for that ABC. So if that ABC person is a recurring client, I don't continue to give XYZ, excuse me, any more money for that particular client.
Okay.
But I
And
do have sorry, I do have tiers, meaning after every 10 clients that they refer, I'll give them a special gift, right? So as that survey I showed you earlier, asking them about their favorite restaurant, their favorite spa, like all that stuff. So oftentimes I'll give them the 200, then I'll also send them a gift certificate to their spa or restaurant, whatever it is. And they like, oh shit, there's an extra thing here. How did you know that? And they forgot that they filled all that stuff out way back when, right? So then
mhm.
again, it just incentivizes them, like, oh my God, this is amazing. And
Yeah. Okay. Um, with the timing of this, like how do you work that out? Like when do you actually pay them?
the yeah, right away. So um, because my prices are generally 1,500 for a group program and 2,100 for one-on-one, 4,000 for couples. So I always ask for at least a third of the payment, so it'll cover it. So for example, if it's 1,500, they'll give me 500. So I at least know that'll cover the referral, right? So I won't do it if they give me only $100 deposit, which is rare because that won't happen. But if it
Yeah.
does, sometimes I'll have to take that 100 just to get them on. So I won't give them the referral because in case they bounce, then I'm like, I'll be out of money, right?
Yeah.
So I have to make sure that the referral bonus would actually be covered.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I pay it right away, right away. Yeah.
Right away. Okay. Got it. Yeah, I think you already kind of went over this, but if you have anything to add, like how you make sure that they're comfortable with this and they don't feel like they're selling people or or anything like that. If you had anything to add there, that might be helpful.
Yeah, so I always just ask, just tell them to tell their story and basically just think how it's, I always ask, how did it help you? Like, or where were you before? And how has it helped you now? And who are you today? And then lastly, who do you think this would benefit? That's kind of the template I give them.
Yeah.
And they don't have to sell anything, just that sells itself. So what I do is make sure they have a good before and after, because that always gets eyeballs. I think before and afters are cringe, really, to be honest with you. I hate doing them, but it's what gets eyeballs,
Of
right?
course. Yeah.
People like that. But then the story is honestly the most important. That's what's really gonna get the new clients. The before and after is just superficial, but if the story is good and they write from the heart, that's why I always prefer they do it rather than me. Um, because when I do it, it seems so templatized, right? Check marks this, they did this, they did this, that. But when they tell the story and it comes from their heart, it just resonates so much better, especially the people that they know in the network. So that's all I say. It's just write on your experience. Don't sell anything. You could tag me if you wish, and they normally do, but don't have to say, "Oh yeah, go join Gil. He's the greatest guy in the world." They don't say any of that. It's just they tell their story, and people will naturally ask them, "Shit, I want that too. How did you do it? Who did you work with?" Right?
Yeah.
And then they'll comment. Then sometimes I'll interject too when they comment. Then because a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, can I do this? I'm XYZ old," and then I'll say, "Yeah." In this person's group that you're commenting on, there was another lady exactly the same age, and I'll,
Mhm.
I'll give you a concrete example with that too. It was just, yeah. Sorry here. So, bloody hell. So yeah, she basically wrote about her being a mom of two. She lost her way. You know, this is how she feels now. So then this lady just said, this is awesome. Is this for seniors like me? And then I interjected, yeah, on her program, because I do group programs, there was a 76-year-old, 70-year-old, and two 60-year young ladies, right? They did well. And then she just messaged me right after that, just right like that, just from that comment. And then I sent her a video, said, you know what? Uh, this is who I work with. This is what I do. If that seems like it's a good fit for you, why don't we get on a call, talk to you about it? And then within the day, she was a new client. It's kind of the dynamics of how I do it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Let me ask you this because I think we're kind of talking about like what you're guiding them with. So I've started doing more um, like Facebook Live interviews that I'll record, and then the conveyor belt essentially, right? So is there a way besides just like having them share the live? Is there any other way that you might kind of leverage that for more possible referrals, or is there anything maybe you would do that I should consider? Because I feel like I'll I mean shit. Actually, I'm thinking back. See, like I don't think I've even asked people to share the lives. So maybe I should go back and do that. But is there anything else that you might do to like get more eyeballs on that I might not be thinking about?
Do you share the lives into, do you put it up on YouTube and stuff like that?
No, I don't.
So I do a lot of so I don't do lives, but I do a lot of client interviews. Well, not a lot. I should be doing more. But for the client interviews that I do upload it to YouTube. And then in my story, so I'll take snippets of that. I'm actually, one of the guys in the sales call was talking about using AI to scrub it and make clips quicker. Another
Yeah,
topic. But what I've been doing is taking clips from these interviews. So I worked recently with a doctor, and we had a very cool snippet for about a minute on talking about Ozempic, right? And then I took that clip, I posted it on my story, I tagged her, and why Ozempic may not be the solution kind of thing, right?
yeah,
And then she reshared it, and then that kind of got more eyeballs. So I just take snippets of these clips and then share it, and then I have a link. I can, in Instagram stories, there's a link option. So
sure.
you say click here for the full interview, right? So I do that, and then interested people will take a look at that. And then I have other client interviews, and then they get into this rabbit hole of looking at all my content, and then, hey, I was watching your YouTube. How do I join? So that's kind of another way that I leverage it. My YouTube channel sucks though, so but that's just kind of one way that I leverage that. I could do a much better job, but it's not a focus right now.
Yeah, understood. Okay. Um, yeah, next one, like, what do you feel like, or really, I mean, it sounds like things are going well, so maybe there's not a big challenge here. Is there anything like from where I'm at right now? Well, let me ask you this way. I'll frame the question this way. If you were me, I've kind of told you where I am with this. Like, I essentially don't have a real referral program, right? I'm basically only asking one time and not doing a good job of following up on it if there's anyone else they would recommend. Like, if you were me, where would you start?
Um, so do you ask it at that 4 week mark too? Is that where you start planting the seed?
Exactly. Yeah. So I asked, so that's the first time that I ask about any referral or anything, just like, hey, would you refer me? If they say yes, the little box opens up for a name. Most of the time it's, I can't think of anyone right now,
Right.
but yes, I would refer you.
Can you and do you have other strategic calls like the 8 week mark, 11 week mark, like the way James recommends?
Yeah. So he actually just shared like the verbiage that he wants me doing this, but yes, I do. There are certain points that they correlate more to habits in the program, though. And I think, habits that we're working on, those calls at certain weeks.
Right.
And I think what I need to be doing is, and what you're saying is, that's really where I need to tie in more of the referral conversation is on those calls.
Yes, and then intermediately or in between those, if you start recognizing things that are doing well, some milestones, that's when you could ask them at those points to share, whether it's on their story, on their wall, because that in its own, because right now they're like, oh, I can't think of anyone, right? But then once they share the story or the post, it's going to start generating eyeballs and it's going to start generating questions from their network, right? Oh shit, that looks good. How did you do that? So then when you go back to that question in that strategic checkpoint, week 8, week 11. So is there anyone now that you think would be a good fit? Yeah, you know what? When I posted the story, so and so reached out to me. Oh, okay, great. You know, how would they be a benefit? Or do you think you can introduce us to a three-way conversation, right?
Yeah.
And then if all else fails, right, the three-way conversation is the best thing. Let me just go here. Sorry. The three-way conversation is the best thing because you get direct contact, but
True.
sometimes that won't happen. So I have this links on I have a referral page on my website, and so I go, you know what? If it ever comes up, you could just send them my referral link. So similar to our pre-call, I just kind of talk to them, you know, give them a little heads up about me. Uh, they have to fill out the questionnaire, and then the bottom this have other testimonials, right? Interviews. So this is very similar to the pre-call. So when James told us about the pre-call, I kind of had this already set up. So I have certain clients here that did well, and then have interviews with them, so they can kind of scrub through all that, get to know the people I help. Uh, you know, hear me talk, right? Because maybe they don't like the way I talk right away, and they just say,
Yeah.
"I want to work with this loser," right? Or they might say, "Oh, I like his voice; he's calming. I think I could work with someone like that." So just more touch points and visibility, I think, just helps too.
And then I'm guessing in the questionnaire, it's basically who referred you. Like it's a special questionnaire that's similar to your regular intake questionnaire, but it's more, it makes sure to ask who actually referred you to the program, right?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And if that's not clear too, like sometimes I'll just put a friend. So then when you actually get on the call, then you kind of pry it out of them, right? Because I also leverage that too at the end of the sales call. So say I give the price, right? For example, today or yesterday I had a call with someone in the Philippines and I said it's 2100, right? And she's and Filipinos, they always like uh I'm not stereotyping because I'm a Filipino descent, so don't worry. A lot of them like discounts. So
Yeah.
she giggles. She's like, haha, is there any Filipino discount since we're, like we're compadres, like we're friends, right? I'm like, oh yeah, you already got the discount because you were referred by Kit. the regular investment is actually 2,300. So because you were referred by Kit, you actually got $200 off. So it's 2,100. So that's how I kind of bake it in. I don't say it right away. It's 2,300, but because you got referred, it's only 2,100. I only bring that up if they start talking about the price, right? Don't want to give them too many options. I was doing that before and I felt kind of like it was kind of weird, right? So just say the price, and then if they bring it up, then I say, "Oh, you're already getting a discount for this much, because you were referred by someone."
Okay. Okay. So so you don't even tell them that they're getting a referral discount unless they ask about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hmm. Well, I'm just curious, like what would be, I'm just thinking about, using this on a call. What would be, I don't want to say wrong, but what don't you like about saying, just going ahead and saying like normal price is XYZ, but since blah 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 referred you, you get a 200. Like just walk me through that. Like I just so I can avoid maybe similar mistakes or whatever.
I don't know if it's the wrong way or right way. I
Yeah,
just found when I was doing that, it got a little mouthy and
yeah,
wordy.
that makes sense.
And like
Stop.
the way I like James says is just be confident with your price and shut up. Like that's what he said. Just say what you got to say. Highlight all the things that they want to be 2.0. See the investment like you've done this 5 million times, and then shut up and let them talk themselves into it or out of it or whatever objections will come up. And then I kind of use these as leverages. So if they start talking about price, then I can always bring that up, right? Yeah, you're already getting this discount because of this, and that's kind of how I do it. So I just kind of stick with that. Personally, I was finding when I was saying, yeah, this is the regular investment, but because of this and that, it just kind of sounded, I don't know how to explain that.
No, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I think it's just yeah, say the number and stop talking and
Yeah.
let them figure it out.
And then
Okay.
when you say that after, like, yeah, you're already getting that discount because of this, and then they're kind of, oh, shoot, I feel stupid for asking for more now, kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that kind of ties into one thing I asked you. Is there anything that you wish maybe you had done differently, like with the referrals from the start?
Uh, I'm not sure. I was also taught that to get the names up front. And the way you could leverage that is you talk about the bonus that they would get, right? So you say the way I was showed to do this, which I stopped doing, I thought it was kind of weird. So when they say, "Are you interested in getting your investment back?" Right? And you talk to them about this. So you say, "Yeah, I actually have $100 bonus for you." So I was telling you 200, but you start with $100. But if you want to double that, are you interested in doubling your bonus from 100? And they'll say, yeah, okay. All you got to do is fill out a questionnaire or a Google sheet with names. And I won't contact these people. It's just a placeholder of names that you may think may be a good fit, and we'll revisit this in the future, right? So just by them putting the names down, you double their bonus.
Yeah.
But then when you go back to the conversation in a couple of weeks, yeah, you know anyone who'd be a good fit? I can't remember. Oh, but by the way, do you remember you listed these? We talked about these three names. Do you think
Yeah.
you can talk to them now? I kind of found it didn't flow well for me. Maybe it's just the way I presented it.
Yeah.
That's how I was told to do it, is getting names up front, at least 3 to 5, so that you have something to talk about. And then you kind of hold them accountable after you give them so much value. So you talked about these guys. Do you think you could reach out to them and see if they would be interested? And you kind of put it on their end, right? Oh, this guy giving me so much value, I got to reciprocate, right? I kind of found it sleazy personally, so I didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So just to kind of, unless there's anything else you think we should touch on, just to kind of wrap it up, I mean, I'm thinking, I want this to be something like I do want to build out, like I love the system you have in place, and I certainly want to replicate and build on something like that. I also just want to implement this shit and kind of do a quick and I don't want to say dirty, but like just start doing it. So I've got some ladies in mind. I know you said that the ladies that are maybe not clients or not in my ecosystem right now, like message them saying, hey, something pertinent, right? Kind of bring them back in, remind them a little bit, start the conversation from there. What about the ladies that are our current clients? I'm thinking of a couple people that have given me some names recently, and maybe it didn't work out, or I didn't, probably didn't follow up with one or two of them. Like, how would you start that conversation? Would you do it on our next like one-on-one check-in? And what would that sound like, maybe?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, exactly. The next check-in, but try to bring a couple of wins to give to them, right? Just to remember to highlight what you're doing for them, the benefits that they're getting. So always lead in with that.
Mm.
Give, and then do the ask for sure. But
Okay.
highlight definitely something positive. I forgot to tell you about that too. So when I was doing that referral thing, uh, we were using GHL as well, and
Yeah.
we created a campaign for a referral, this referral program thing, and sending this out to all my email lists from past clients that who aren't my clients, and telling them about this referral thing, and then having incentives to do it. I personally didn't like it. If you're good like that with email and email marketing, like I'm not really good at that. So I found it was just very clunky and not me. And
Yeah.
it's just not how I do things. So I think it came across very weird because it was texting them too and mailing them about the referral. It kind of felt a bit needy. But
Yeah.
apparently to him, it was actually good, and that's one of the ways you can incentivize it with old people or people who are used to be in your network that are or in your ecosystem, past clients that were no longer, and getting them on board. But for me, it's kind of felt weird, so I didn't roll with it.
Okay.
But as a campaign, I think Mark Van Pelt in our group, he may have something similar. So I don't know if
Okay.
you saw his referral training on the mastermind in Toronto that they did in January.
No, I didn't.
If you
I,
look in the portal, the James's portal, and go down, I think it's at the bottom left. It used to be. So he might have Dubai there now, but they had the Toronto meetup. I think this is before we joined in January, and Mark has his own referral strategy, and I think he pays really well. I think he pays his clients or the people who refer 500, but I think his investment is a lot higher than mine. Like I think he charges 5,000, I think, for his program. So, but anyway, he's got his own referral strategy that maybe you can extract some things that I didn't tell you. It seems to work really well for him. I think that referrals is one of his bread and butters.
yeah.
If you hear them talking about shake the tree, I think that was one of his.
Okay. Yeah. 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 I've talked to James about that.
So
Okay. Um, if you were to give me like just a brief, because I'm thinking about some conversations I'm going to have this weekend. Okay. With doing check-ins and stuff. Just from your perspective, how would you frame, like, okay, we've already talked about some wins, that's really awesome. By the way, what do I say? Like, decided to start up a new referral program. I know you had mentioned some people. Like, how would you actually, what would you actually say to them about this?
so when I was first starting this, it's always about giving, right? So when I said it, so started this, I was saying to people, you know, a lot of you guys helped me a lot, and I always wanted to give back, but I never knew how to do it. So I talked with and this, I was taught to do this. I talked with my past clients, and we came up with a strategy, and we said that, yeah, I think it would be a great if we did a win-win opportunity, meaning whoever that you may know that can join, that would be a benefit. We would give them a discount, but we'd also give you a bit of a bonus, right? So I have this new referral program that, if you know someone that would be a good fit, uh, I would love for that introduction because we may be able to help them. We'll give them a little bit of a discount, and at the same time, you'll get a bonus. So everyone wins in this situation. So that's kind of the way
I
he
like
showed
that.
me to introduce it. So you basically say, I've always wanted to give back. I just didn't know the appropriate way. So I work with past clients, my other clients too, and we came up with this system where we think everyone can benefit. so everyone has, kind of wins from it. So it's not like you're taking everything. It's like, yeah, you're giving them a bonus, you're giving their friend a discount. So that's how I kind of positioned it.
That's awesome. Man, I don't have anything else. I greatly appreciate your time.
Hope it was helpful, man.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If I have any specific questions about anything, I will certainly reach out. This was a huge help.
No problem. Let me know how it goes, and if you might find other ways to optimize this that is much better. So please share that with me too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. I really appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
All right, have a good weekend, bro.
Thanks. Bye.
Take care.